When I moved mom and dad to Eaton Valley, to Morley area, we had business back then. That's why we moved to Morley area. When I have a chance, I go to Pahaus, I go dance, I go do stuff. But time being, yeah, at home, I just bike around, walk around, hike around, I got my horses there, I go see them every other day. That's what I do. My grandpa, my great grandpa, he's a horse whisperer. So I go to him, he tells me everything. Go feed, go do this, go do that.
My name is Paul Arthur Daniel. My Indian name is Tataskabni, which is in English three white buffalo cow spirit. Our parents and grandpa, he tells many stories about the follow up the tradition, how we grew up. At one time he said, this gentleman, he's hungry, lives in a village. One of his grandpa told him, well, go hunt, get some meat, something to eat. So he took his bow and arrow and started going hunting. Went back to the mountain. He didn't see nothing. He got tired. So this gentleman, he will walk up a little hill. It's gonna rest up a little bit. He sat down and very tired and had a little water and closed his eyes, and all of a sudden a little wind come. He opened his eyes, and on that little hill there's a lot of tall grass like this. With the wind, the grass started moving. He's just looking, staring at it and looked at it. And the wind started moving around, and the grass started moving around like the grass is dancing. That's what he saw himself. Oh, look at the grass dancing. So he's staring at it, and in that grass, all of a sudden I see a spiritual man dancing within the grass. God, he couldn't believe. He looked at it and looked at it, and then he started rubbing his eyes and looked again. It was gone, disappeared. That spirit man was disappeared. He forgot to hunting, but he's more interested in what he saw. So he went back to the camp. He told they have chiefs there too. They have elders. So he brought them in teepee and he told his story about it. He really believed and trusted what he saw and really improved that story. That's really strong and everybody listening. So he told his family, let's get some grass. Took the grass, a bunch of grass, and the sinews threatened, all put it in place, like lacing it and thread it, and he made an outfit, put them on in the outfit. So one of the elders said, we have a grass song. So we start singing a grass song. The gentleman put on his grass, turned to outfit, he started dancing. And in English they call grass dance. So that's how it became the grass dance. When I had my son, who's my beautiful late wife, when he was 4 years old, I told him a story about this. He really loves watching those, they call powwow dancing, celebration powwow. Start watching these dancers, you really want to dance. So he told his mom, make me an outfit. I want to dance grass dance. So he made him an outfit. He started dancing in a celebration powwow.
I've been dancing since 4 years old. My mom and dad took me over there, and my dad was a singer, so they go sing. I was a little boy and just sat there, and pretty soon I want to start dancing it, so. So when I was 4 years old, I started grass dance. So now, when I was a teenager, I still go, go dancing. Before I had my kids, I went to New York, Nebraska, Tama, Iowa, Skimmitson, you name it, and I went all over the place. Then 95, start Denver March Paul. I went over there and I had a good time. I danced there. I enjoy it, but I like to dance in in a old style way. Now today is it slows down. You don't dance too much as hard as back in then. Now at the power today, now these days is contemporary. For myself, when I go there, I just go there and dance because you're competing, but if you're not gonna win or not, it's up to the judges. It's up who's running it. Power is more competition. It's more energized, more anxious. At the Sundance, it's different. It's a spiritual dancing we do at the Sundance.
Back in 1977 or 78, I had started dreaming about Sundance. That time my father's still alive, so I talked to him, and he told me about what's given in the Sundance. When your dream comes like this, you have to put it up because the Spirit Creator gives you. You have to run the Sundance. So 1983, my first Sundance. We used TP. That's a master ceremony place that the leader sits in the teepee to run the Sundance. Then others that can camp around, whatever they can camp, is used there to be happy. Yeah, Sundance is 4 days. It's not on the weekend days, no. For a while I followed the moon because my grandpa told me first moon, quarter moon, full moon, and so forth. He told me to follow that.
First RC people, they let us use the land because we pray for Sundance, we pray for making sweats, making Sundance. They provide it for us, so we pray for them to make it easier, understand for them. Grandpas, they like sweats. They go into sweats, they cleanse themselves, and they sing, and they take care of people. Inside the sweat is just, it's just dark, and basically you're almost halfway to the heaven and come back, You gather on your people, they come sweat with you. When they come sweat with you, they bring a sick person. And obviously the people, they like it, so they come back and they want to sweat with you again.
The sweat lodges includes the Sundance, You follow up the Spirit's strong in the Sundance, and then to follow up the sweat, we call buffalo sweat. So we put up a buffalo sweat before the Sundance camp. I do before 4 days before the Sundance. I do buffalo sweats and many we call grandfather rocks.
The sweat we on now is my father's gonna pass it on to me already, but we're both helping there since till he's almost ready. Pass it on to you, the whole thing, and pass it on to you, And then you go, you don't have to ask him. You can do it by yourself, but you gotta bring the people, call the people, you're gonna have a sweat.
My given names are Pretty Eagle Woman and Cold Water Woman, and my English name is Teresa Snow, and I live here in the mountains, or we say the Shining Mountains. Iyithgabi is people of the Shining Mountains. The lands that we call home for the Stoney Nakota people, actually it's Iyethkabi, we call ourselves. And so that would comprise of this area, north as far as Nordegg and as far south as Drayton Valley or Black Diamond. And so within that area, our people would roam and live in different areas in clans or within families. And then they would travel all the time and following the animals, the elements, the plant life. And so when they were in one area and then it was time to move, they would go to another area and they would travel like that in their families. And it was just easier for them to do things rather than in a big band. Sometimes people think a nation is just one big nation all traveling together, but really we're in little clans or families traveling. And so we would always frequent this area, and we go far down as Montana, and then far up as almost to Northwest Territories in our traveling, and then far west with the Shuswap, we have like a treaty with them, and then far east to Manitoba, because when you look at areas there, they have Sioux Lookout, which means when they looked out, that's where they would see the Sioux coming. And so there's various name places within history that will gauge where we frequented or where we lived within. So how I pass on teachings with the next generation is with some of the work I do and the workshops I do and the art that I do, the beadwork. One of our daughters, Canyon, she liked this story about the Big Dipper. And so then when she was going to start dancing, I thought, well, if I can create something that she'll love to dance in and that will be a keepsake and create a memory that will strengthen our bond together, I thought, well, why don't I bead that story on her outfit? It tells the story of the Big Dipper. And so it's all beaded. It's like, and to me, that's storytelling through beadwork, because we didn't have a written tradition, but we had it through arts. And so what I was able to do was we looked outside at the time the Big Dipper was out there, and then when we took it and placed it on her outfit the way we saw it, I thought this is a moment in time that she'll remember us looking outside at the stars, and then how we beaded it into the outfit. So to tie in that identity and belonging. And so a lot of that is within storytelling, so that she'll see when she looks at her outfit that that's who she is, and she can explain it. And so it's not so much a written language, but through the art, we can tell our stories. Before, you could see a person in their regalia and you would be able to tell where they're from by their beadwork. If it was floral, they would be Cree or Ojibwe. If it was geometric, you knew that they were like Sioux, Nakota, Dakota, Lakota people. Now we have such an influx of people can go to YouTube or Google and they can find images, mass images, and sometimes culturally appropriate other designs of other groups and then carry it on and wear it without knowing that it might be a family design. It might be something that was given to you in ceremony. I think that we have to look at things and how to redo things, how to reshape things, and carry that information that we still have there, that knowledge, and move it forward so that our youth can have that in our families, our young parents, our adults that are trying to relearn and reconnect. And our art is seen in a different way. It's seen through a European lens and not through an Indigenous lens. And so we work towards trying to sharing that information and recapturing that knowledge, and then also sharing it with our people so that they don't feel that everything is lost, but we do have those areas we can connect to.
I still dance in the adults. I try to keep up with them, and I'll be dancing till whenever. Somebody will pick it up, to the families, neighbors, your kids or your grandkids or your cousin kids, they can pick it up, if they know how to dance, they can pick it up,